we can share it with everybody else. And we're gonna get going here. See what I'm trying to pull up. Okay. All right, so Google and Schoology are two programs that we use as a district. We did not have Google until this year, so this is new. So don't feel like you're behind the curve if you haven't jumped on board with this. This is new, and we were just working out the kinks in the beginning of the year, but it's working pretty seamlessly at this point in time. So by putting these two tools together, you can make your classroom experience that much more powerful, particularly when it comes to feedback for students. So some things are just better together, sprinkles, or as my aunt from Pennsylvania calls them, jimmies and ice cream. Or my favorite combination, tacos and margaritas. This is definitely an example of that. So the Google Drive actually has two different applications that we're going to install onto your Schoology account today. Okay, so one of them will connect your Google Drive to Schoology so you can share things and kids can look at what you've created or use it as more of a resource. And the other example is the Google Assignments app that will literally take something you've created, maybe a graphic organizer or some sort of document that you want kids to fill in, and give every single student in your class an electronic copy. So it's literally like taking a stack full of papers and walking around your class and handing out papers, but instead you're doing it digitally. And you'll be able to see those kids work on whatever that assignment is live on your Schoology page. So what this is gonna look like, and I'm gonna walk you through it on this page and then we're gonna go through it together, but basically at the top of your Schoology page in the top right-hand corner, you're gonna have a little button that looks like this. This is your App Center. And once you click on that, you're gonna open your App Center. And from there, we're gonna install two different applications. So again, the Google Drive Assignments. This is where we're giving kids those individual digital copies. And then the Google Resource app, where we can let kids see something that's in our Google Drive. We want them to have access to what's in our Google Drive. So these are two different apps that we're going to go through today, and we're going to explain how to get them both and what each function is.
On my Google Drive, I create whatever document I want. In my Google Drive, if it's a writing assignment, I make a template for them, like an MLA format, if that's the way I want them to do it, and then I go ahead and assign it to them in Schoology. So I've created the document in my Google Drive. I go to Schoology, and wherever I want it, wherever I need to put it, I will go. I'm in my Unit 3, the Outsiders. So I add an assignment. After I clicked add materials, I add assignment. And then you can name it. And then what Katie's gonna show you all is to make sure that you have the Google Drive Assignments app in Schoology. And so you would click where it says assign from app, you would just click Google Drive Assignments. Your Google Drive will come up. And my best advice to you is to organize your Google Drive into folders, because mine used to be a mess and I organized it. So it's much easier when I go to assign things. So let's say that I wanted this one. Here we go. And then I just click attach. Well, not if I don't click it. Attach. And so there it is. It's going to make a copy for each one of my students when they open it up. So I give it a category. And then I just click create. And then I put it in here. So when I open this up, this is what our view would look like as the teacher. The student view is different, and Katie's going to go through that with you all. But what I like about this is that I can actually click on in progress, and I can actually see if a student has, it'll tell me if they have not opened it. It will tell me, it will show me their actual live document in action. So I can see where they are, what they've completed so far, all of that. And then under submissions, you can actually filter it by class, and then what needs to be graded, what's already graded if it was later on time. So all of that is in here. The cool part that I like about the Google Drive and assigning it, one is that I'm not standing at the copier making 4 million copies all the time. And two, especially when it comes to writing, I wanted to show you that. So I just pushed out a template of an MLA form document, Google Doc, to my students. And they actually typed their personal narratives right in their Google Doc. And then I can actually go in here and make comments as they're working. So the comment part as they're working has been huge for my kids because they're actually getting live feedback as they're going through, as they're writing. They'll say to me, Ms. Hartzell, can you go look at mine? Can you put comments on there now? I've done my first paragraph. So it's really cool. And they can actually respond to my comments, and then they would go ahead and resolve the comment once they have fixed whatever it was that I said they needed to fix. So that live feedback portion is really cool. And
Could you do me a favor? Can you show them how it's also in your Schoology Drive?
I was just getting
Sorry,
there.
in your Google Drive.
You're good. So in my Google Drive, if you go back, everything that I've created in Schoology using the Google Drive app it automatically creates a folder in my Google Drive for everything. So there's the Schoology Google Drive assignments. And if I clicked on each one of my sections, it would give me everything that I have completed in Schoology. Right there, automatically, it does it for you. So that's really cool as well. Was there anything else, Kitty?
I think that's it. Thank you.
No,
I know
you're
this was
welcome.
rushed, and I apologize that you're taking time. Great job. Okay, so now we're going to back up. So we've seen some of the benefits and we've seen how this looks from the student perspective. And your mind is already probably wondering and thinking about ways that you could utilize this in your classroom. So we're going to back up and we're going to talk about how do you add this to your current Schoology courses. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay, so like I mentioned a second ago, there are 2 different drives that we're actually going to install, or 2 different Google apps that we're going to install. So when I go to Schoology, I open up anything on just my regular homepage on Schoology. These little 4 blocks right here is the App Center. So I'm going to open the App Center. And the Google Drive app and the Google Resource app are the 2 apps that we're going to install today. You're going to need them both, and they both have different purposes, and I'm going to explain what those 2 different purposes are. You'll notice that these 2 apps are going to appear at the top of the list in the App Center because they are very popular. Khan Academy is first, but we have the Google Drive Resource app and the Google Drive Assignment app. The Google Drive Resource app, we would click on it. You would click install. You'll go through all of the permissions, install for me, install. That's it. For the Google Drive Assignment app, it looks a little bit different. Okay, so Google Drive Assignment, install, agree, install for me. And this is where it looks a little bit different. You're going to want to install this on all of the classes or courses that you teach with students. So anytime you've got students in your course that you think you'd like to pass out some digital documents, you'll select those courses. You do not need to select this course admin only. You'll click install for that as well. From there, like Ms. Hartzell mentioned, we're going to have some additional features now in our Schoology courses. So I'm going to go back to one of my courses. I'm going to open up a course. And we're going to first talk about the assignment app. So for assignments, I would use the Google Drive assignments when I'm creating assignments in Schoology. So add materials, add assignment. You'll notice now, like Ms. Hartzell had, we have this new Google Drive assignments app. This is literally where I'm connecting things directly from my Google Drive and going to pass out documents to kids that I want them to edit. I'm going to take a minute here and show you guys some examples of how I think this could be utilized. One example could be, we could create, using a PDF, we could create a Google slide. And this was something that Andrea had posted on one of her packets that had gone out to students. So we have all of these really beautiful PDFs and they're colorful, but it's really difficult for us to collect documentation from our students on a PDF, right? If we want to create these and make these more worksheets so that kids can type on them, we can easily do that using Google Slides. So all I did was I took a copy of the PDF, I literally took a screenshot, I made that PDF the background so that background cannot move, and then I'm putting in text boxes. So when I add this assignment in Google, or in Schoology, excuse me, kids will be able to type right here, and I have the answers, answer here. So they'll click on the text box and they'll type their answers in. Now I know that these questions and where I have the answers don't match the prompt, but I just wanted to show you guys how we could use something we already have that's in PDF format to use it as a Google Drive to pass out that electronic copy. Additionally, we could also add some comments on the side. So maybe you know that your students are going to have a misconception about this part down here, or maybe they need a little bit more instruction before they start the assignment, especially since we're not with them. If you took the Screencastify class last week, we know that Screencastify is directly linked to our Google Drive. So it's really easy for us to insert a video directly from our Google Drive. So I created this morning in my Google Drive a short little video about the directions. So I can throw that direction video directly onto this document. When kids open it in Schoology, they'll not only see this information here, they'll have an idea of where to type, they'll have my notes on the side, and they'll also have a video. Additionally, like Ms. Hartzell just showed us, what we could do is we could watch the student live answer these questions. Maybe they want to add a comment, maybe they're confused about something, and you can respond directly here on this document. So you can have that feedback and that conversation with kids live. So that would be one way I thought that we could utilize this program. Another way we could utilize it is if we have some sort of graphic organizers that are already created. This is a really great way. This is just a Google Doc. So Ms. Hartzell talked about having a writing template. This is a great way to have kids, you know, working on something and filling in their answers. And we can see exactly what they've written. We can see live in Schoology what they've done, who's opened it, and their progress. And then, like Ms. Hartzell mentioned, I could go in and add a comment. Let's not forget to do blah, 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 or that looks really great, but I think you're missing this part, or don't, you know, some sort of additional feedback. We know that the feedback that we provide to kids that's timely and robust is more effective. And we also know that if we can help support our students during the process of them completing the work, they'll be all that much more successful. We know at the end of a writing piece, when kids have spent a lot of time writing something or creating something, and we give them a grade and we spend all that time writing comments on that paper that they submitted, 9 times out of 10, I know as a middle school teacher, they wouldn't read all those comments I spent all that time writing and feedback. So if I can provide feedback during the learning process, I think that that's going to be a much more productive learning environment and a more engaging, active learning environment for our students. So I also want to make note that all of these things that we create right now are things that we can definitely use next year. So if you were going to use some sort of blended learning strategy next year and you wanted to have kids maybe working independently on this while you're conducting another station, or maybe you're going to do some sort of modified flip where kids are working on something, you know, semi-independently on the computer, and then you're working with another group of students doing something different. This is a great way to give kids those tools and strategies to start working on these things independently without necessarily you standing over them, or it also gives them an opportunity to hear the directions a second time or an additional explanation. So this is the Google Drive assignments, and then just like Ms. Hartzell showed us, we would add our assignment. So perhaps I want to add my math demo. It's a Google slide. I can attach it, and then everybody will get their own copy of this document. All right, so that is the Google Assignments app.
Hey, Katie.
Yep.
For that Google Assignments, because you had to click the class and the course when you first put it on, what if you add a new class or add a new course afterwards? Can you still check
You
it?
go back and do the same thing. Yep. So in the beginning of the year, you'd set it up for all of your classes, and if something changed or you were added to a different class, you'd just go back and check that box.
So you
Yep.
go back through and click the Google Drive assignment app and it would bring that back up?
You got it.
Okay.
Yep. I'll share this slideshow with you guys as well. I can't remember if I posted it or not on the instructional technology website, but here's a little video with instructions. There's no words to it, but it just is a nice little demo to remind you of the steps and the processes, because if this is new to you, it might feel a little bit, you might feel a little bit lost at first. All right, so things to keep in mind. When you're creating an assignment in Schoology, you don't have to change your permissions or anything like that. So when we're sharing with parents right now, we talked last week about go in and make it so anyone with a link can view. You don't have to worry about that when you're connecting it with Schoology. It's already done for you. You have the option to select anything in your Google Drive. You can do a slides, you can do a Google Doc. We've seen Google Drawings. Deanna Carter did a really nice job this year where she created a brochure template, pushed out that brochure template to every student. Every student knew what to put on each part of the template. And so they were able to pretty independently complete the assignment that she had given them, and had them even do research along with that. It's really nice because we can grade it directly from there. We can also embed rubrics right from there so students would know exactly what the expectations are for those assignments. And it really consolidates and organizes for you so you're not clicking between multiple sites or multiple locations. Everything is right there on your Schoology page, directly on that assignment page. All right, so one more time. So we'd add materials, add assignment, select your assignment from your Google Drive. And then from the student perspective, it's going to look a little bit different. So when the students open up that assignment, so let's say, for example, it's called Bio Poem. When they open this up, they'll see two tabs, and you are going to have to let your students know about this because this is a little bit confusing. We've seen a lot of kids get lost on this component. So this first one is the assignment. This was where you'd put your directions of what you want kids to do and the expectations for the assignment. And then they would click on My Document to actually start that editing process of that Google Doc, slide, sheet, whatever you've shared with them. This is the teacher side. So like Ms. Hartzell demoed, we have the assignment, and then the next tab is who's working on it, where are they? You can watch them live typing on the assignment, and then the submissions, the ones that are all complete. And this is what that in progress looks like again. All right, so the other one we're going to go through now is the Google Resource app. The resource app is where you would just want to share something with students. So let's say, for example, I created a Screencastify and I'm modeling to them what to do, or maybe I've created a Screencastify where I'm going through a Google slideshow explaining something about the Civil War. So this would be something that I just want kids to be able to view. Okay, this wouldn't be something that I want them to edit. I just want them to see something I've made or something that's in my Google Drive. This is when you'd use the Google Drive Assignments app. If you created Screencastify videos last week, this is how you would embed those Screencastify videos directly into Schoology. So you can do these. I like doing these on discussions and pages. These are the two places that I would probably use this tool the most frequently. Anytime you see this little insert content button, so it's this little square with the arrow, you'll also notice now that this new Google Drive resource app should appear right there. So we've installed it to our class. I can click on this button right here, and it'll take me directly to my Google Drive content. So here's kind of a rundown of what it would look like. So let's say I open a page. I want kids to see the slideshow with the narration from Screencastify. I select my Google Drive assignment. My Google Drive appears. I can search for my Screencastify video that I created to explain those slides. Screencastify has a nice folder already put into my Google Drive. I select the video, and then I import embed. When I embed the video, you'll see the video shows up right here. It's a little yellow box. That yellow box usually indicates that everything transferred and converted successfully. And it'll show up directly in Schoology. So it's not a link that they have to go outside of Schoology. Everything will be directly on that one page. They can make it full screen if they want, but it's all embedded directly there. All right. You noticed, maybe you noticed, when I opened up my Google Drive, I had 3 different options of how I wanted to bring in that document. So how did I want to share that Screencastify video? So I could have, once I select whatever I want to share, I could either import the link import privately, or I could import embed. I always go with this import embed because I don't want kids clicking out of Schoology because it opens a new tab. And sometimes it's hard to navigate, right? And now I've got 3 different tabs open. Maybe I was at Clever and then I was at Schoology and now I'm watching this video. I really prefer if everything's right on that one page. So I highly recommend this import embed. If you want to put a link, it'll look just like a link traditionally, and I would never use this import private link because you'll have to go back in and share your permissions if you don't have it to anyone in the Lake Forest School District can view. So there's a few different ways we can attach this. Anything from your Google Drive, of course, we could always put a link in. So let's say, for example, I was doing some sort of discussion board. If kids created something on their Google Drive, this is one way they could share that information with you. Like, let's say we were doing some sort of digital gallery walk, for example. I could have kids post their link to their product that they made. Maybe they made some slides with their information or they've created something. They could absolutely embed it as a link. And then from the teacher perspective, don't forget, anytime you see this little like file folder, that also this will open, it'll look like this. And you'll first see your personal group. And then down here now you should see this new icon that says apps. And from here, this is where you can embed all of that information. So again, this is where you would share something that you have created or you want kids to look at, but they're not going to be able to edit it, okay? All right, so we've gone through a few different things. So we talked about Google Drive assignments, giving those digital documents to each student in your class and how we can grade them and everyone would have access and you can watch their live process. And we also talked about the Google Drive resource app where we can share something that we've created in our Google Drive. Specifically, I wanted to mention this in case you created any Screencastify videos in the last week. Questions?